Hey guys, Jeff from Home RenoVision. God. Today's video, we're going to show you how to replace an old rotten rim joist and explain why 95% of homes with the rim joist have this problem and what you can do to make sure it never happens to you. We are going to be replacing this patio door with a brand new one. So we've actually framed this out to be 7 feet wide, knowing we're going to have this problem. I've done a bunch of these rim joist replacements in my career, and here's what we got to deal with. What we have is a building code issue more than anything else, okay? For whatever reason, building code does not require that this piece of wood be pressure treated. Now, if it was pressure treated and it got a little water in it, it would survive without rotting out and going moldy, but they don't do that. They just use regular interior lumber. Now, you can see the damage here is very localized to underneath the door, because under every patio door that's off of the foundation, they put a deck, they put a landing. What they do with modern building code is they'll put this rim joist on. They'll put in a water rain barrier, WRB, or Tyvek we call it, and then they'll put another board right over top of it. That's called a ledger board. And in the old days, they'd use these big ass nasty bolts. Nowadays, we've got new structural screws, but the problem is they laminate all that together. These barriers are not waterproofing, okay? So water has this incredible ability to always migrate to where it's drier. And if you have dry lumber in behind your barrier, water's gonna find a way. Take a look at this as an example. This lag bolt used to hold the ledger board here, but look at how much erosion has happened to that board. That is absolutely crazy. Now, the old house just had this cardboard here. It didn't even have a Tyvek barrier. So if your house is built before building code, you definitely have this rot. If your house is built after building code and you've added a deck, you still have building rot. And if you have a brand new house and it wasn't built with the zip wall system or another waterproofing system, you will have this problem, all right? Once it gets wet, it's very soft, okay? And the ants come and they build a home in here. So if you see carpenter ants in your living room, it's because they're living underneath your door. Now you understand the science of why this happens. It's just bad building code, bad building practice. We're gonna rebuild this so we never have this problem again. Now, if you've been watching this series, you know Matt, this is my son, and he's been helping me rebuild this project. Real quick question, have you ever replaced a rim joist before?
I've never done a rim joist replacement.
Okay, no. All right, so then with your understanding of all the structural stuff that we've done in this house up to this point, what would your process be to rip this out, you think?
Well, so you and I spoke about it earlier this morning, and I have a different approach.
Okay.
My first step personally would be the same way that we took out those windows. So I'd probably go down to the basement, put in some temporary walls to help support all these joists, coming up, picking up this rim joist.
Okay.
Right? And then I would come out here, cut it from both sides, and then probably just chisel it out or something.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Because my thinking behind that is I want to hold the structure of the building up.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that this is a semi-structural portion of the building, right?
Yeah, it is definitely structural.
So.
Yeah, and this is the issue, guys. This is a structural element, but it's not structural underneath the door. It's just carrying the load of the door.
Right.
What's above the door is a header. So I think the best way to talk about the structure, which is step one, because you've got to make sure that you're not going to damage your home, is we'll go inside and we'll take a look at how the structure is built, and then we'll solve that problem to make sure that we reinforce the structure before we take away structure.
Cool.
All right, so here we are inside of my new house here, guys, and you can see my access to my rim joist here is lousy. So if I wanted to do some blocking or something, I can't do it from down here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go upstairs and we're gonna open up the floor so we can explain to you properly, and then you'll be able to see what's going on with the way a house is built. But basically, the floor joists come across and they pick up load on the live load of what's in the room, but they also extend out over on top of the foundation wall and pick up the load of the exterior walls, which in this house are carrying the roof. So I think it's best we just open that up and we can have a better look. But check this baby out. My new forever home, we got a brand new 200 amp service panel upgrade, and we're putting in a Generac system with the disconnect. So having the plan from the end before we start, we put the disconnect in and then we brought the power to the panel. This is going to make the transition to adding the Generac generator so much easier down the road. Now some of you might be wondering, why are you doing this now? It's obviously cold outside, right? And the bottom line is that we're at the point in the construction of this project where our last inspection for insulation is almost ready to happen, but I've got to replace that rim so that I can do my spray seal rim joist package before I can get that inspection done. So we're going to do this in the cold. I'd love to just leave it till the spring, but that leaves an inspection till later. I'm gonna just whip together real quick an understanding for everybody at home. If this is my exterior wall, we have what's called the sill plate, and it goes down on top of your poured foundation or your block wall. And then we have the joists that come across, sit on that plate, and then we have the rim. Now that's what we're replacing today. And this is all made out of interior softwood lumber. And then there's plywood, or plywood that's thrown on top of it. It's called the decking, all right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this off today, all right? And what that does is it still supplies structural support if there's a wall on top of it, okay? The load transfer still happens, even though we're missing a little bit of beef. There's still plenty of load transfer. So what we're looking at here is, here's my door, but this is the header that carries all the weight from the roof, passes it into these two. Now, here's the nailing line of my floor joist, okay? Right to there. Which means my joist is actually picking up load directly from this 2x4 through my plywood into that joist down to the sill. Now, on the other side, so we don't have to do anything on this side to prepare to cut out the rim joist. Over here, it's a little different. I have a joist here, and I got a joist here, and my load transfer is in this area here, all right? And that's the problem, because when I take that rim out, the weight of the roof is on here, and it can actually bow down on the plywood, cause me an issue. It's gonna be really hard to get the next rim in. I run the risk of that actually pushing through and compromising my subfloor, causing cracks, gaps to open up all through the house, and we don't want that. Because of all those wires running through that joist cavity, I have to open up the floor from above so we have access to get some structural support in there. And this is not a big deal, so I'm just gonna have Matt run over here, have him cut this line, and I'm gonna have him cut this line, and I'm gonna have him cut just off the nails, Matt, okay? And then if we have to laminate something before we close up again, that's not gonna be a problem. All right, so what we get to see here now is these are all the wires that were in the way so that we couldn't get in here to block it. This is my new interior wall. Then I've got my insulation layer. This is my foundation, and this is the moisture barrier covering all my block. Now here's my sill plate, and you can see that the joists are resting on that, which is resting on the block foundation, and that is my rim joist. That is the rotten piece. Now this doesn't show it that badly because this door used to come to here, and because of the door, you can actually see the water staining, right? From around where the siding outside met the door and the flashing and the silicone gave out. That's where a lot of the moisture came from. Bad silicone joint from the door to the outside. And over here, in this area, and on the other side of the door, inside, it's all moldy. So this is why we want to get rid of it. And this is why I've got to do this now, because for me, when I do my insulation, I want to spray the rim, air seal all this cavity, air seal this paper to the board, bring my foam all the way across the foundation, and make contact with my pink insulation. So once I've done that, I create that air seal and a thermal break from the outside all the way down to the floor in the basement. And that's why we're doing this now, because I can't spray and pass my insulation inspection until after I've got this done. All right, now the actual removal is going to just take a few minutes. Let's get that done right now. Oh, almost forgot.
Yeah.
So here's my header carrying all the load of the roof. These two pieces of wood here are the load transfer, and the only wood that these two are sitting on, is 4 inches in, is the rim joist itself. So as soon as I cut this away, this side of the door has the propensity to want to just start to sag and sink. This is what we want to be careful of. Going through this for you guys so that you have enough knowledge to realize, understand where your load transfer point is next to your door. Make sure you block this before you rip it out. Now, because this is a 2x10, I already know the size. It should be 9 1/4. Let's see if that still holds true. Looks good. All right. All right, here we go. There's my bevel. Perfect. I'm gonna set it on the sill plate, put the bevel underneath the floor, and then we'll put it in place so it picks up the load. Beautiful. So now we got blocking, picking up this load and taking it right down to the sill plate, which transfers to the block wall. and the rim joist is no longer carrying the weight of this roof. I know it's not much, but it's simple, and it is that simple. When you're doing point load, make sure that whatever's carrying the load is continuous all the way down through the plate, through the subfloor, into wood, all the way to the foundation wall. As long as you do that, you're gonna be golden. All right, let's cut out the rim. All right guys, so here we go. We're just gonna go, obviously this is rotten. I mean, look how easy this comes apart. So we're just gonna look for solid wood. That's right here. This is good, nothing wrong with that at all. And honestly, you can cut into your rim joist anywhere you like as long as you've supported your structure on the inside. Matt, what I want you to do is run me a hole over here, and then you can cut that through.
There we go.
Now it's important that we inspect this before we go crazy here. From the inside, make sure that you're not going to be having wiring or something else that's important. We already know we've got about 8 inches to work with, which is fine. The Sawzall is out here now, right? So the next step is your Sawzall up and down.
We're just gonna eyeball the 90, because really, we just gotta get close.
Yeah, exactly, because your blade isn't gonna go right into the side. Keep your life simple, right? The idea here is we're gonna just try to trim it up as close as we can, and then we'll measure off. In a perfect world, we'll do the same thing on the other side at 10 feet, which is the length of that board.
Yeah, I got any wires back here I gotta look out for?
Not with that short blade, you're fine. The new rim is 10 3/8.
Okay.
So let's measure off exact, and we don't have to cut the other board. We'll go 10 3/8, and we don't have to bother cutting the other piece.
Okay. 3/8.
The next secret for us is we want to pull all the nails. And so what we're looking for are 2 different nails. One, the nails that go into the joist. And then there's gonna be other nails that are on an angle connecting the rim to the sill, all right? So we gotta find all those and extricate them. We should be able to just grab it by the bolts and pull it out. If we got all the 45s gone. You got yours? Yeah. I think you're good. Now the only thing is, this layer of plywood would have been nailed from the top down.
Right.
So I expecting the bottom to pull out. Why is that giving me pause for concern? Okay. Wow. So you want to just grab the bolts and give it a yank? I think this is going to just pop right out. First of all, so much for the dramatic reveal, eh?
I'm pretty sure we got a nail.
We got something somewhere, don't we?
Watch your face.
You got it. Got it. Okay, now we just pound down from here, pull it off the nails from the subfloor, right? Now look at them. Look at them all. Look at all those nails. So what I want you to do is try to get in here, maybe off the backside, and see if you can start peeling that off, the nails. Because they've also got some of the monster nails in here, and that's from the plate going through the plywood into the rim.
Right.
Yeah, that's dramatic, eh? Oh, cheapers creepers.
It's really
Look at
just
that.
melted apart, eh?
That weight is what? 4 ounces? Like that's not even a pound.
That's crazy light. Well, is that because the
It's
wood?
as light as foam.
Yeah, right.
Like, that is just stupid. That's holding up your house. Good to know. All right, now we got to get rid of all these nails. So here's my new rim joist, pressure treated lumber. We're looking for something that's not cupped, not bowed. This is the one time I believe that you go to the store and you actually sort through the lumber. Get a cart and put 4 or 5 of these things on the cart next to each other. Find the straightest board that you can find. The truth is, this should be a little bit snug. In order to get this in, we're gonna do an old carpenter trick. We're gonna beat the living daylights out of the top edge and put a slope on it.
Cool.
We could run the saw down there and just trim it off, but I would rather just beat the tar out of it. You wanna just
start from one end and you do
grab
the
your
other?
hammer, we'll start in the middle. You start at that end and meet in the middle. I'll start in the middle and go to the other end.
Okay.
All right.
This must be goofy looking.
You are a freaking beast. My tennis elbow was really feeling that.
Really?
Oh, that's easy. We can squeeze this thing in here. How are we for size first?
Right on the edge. Are you touching?
I am right on the wood.
Okay, let's see if we can hammer it in.
You seriously, like, is it gonna fit?
Yeah. That's not going.
No, that's not going. Let's take the saw out and we'll trim off an edge.
Okay.
All right. I'll give you a little explanation on this one real quick. I have my regular black line right here. That's for when it's square. When it's on a 45, it cuts at that spot, the notch, all right? And I want to go about a ½ inch from the edge, so I'm going to go to here. What I'm going to do is just eyeball at 45 degrees, a ½ inch from the edge, cuts a ½ inch through there, and that'll give us the room we need to get it in. So I'm going to put my black mark on the edge of the wood and then just run it down. I don't like the look of that brick. Oh, 1 second. Oh, we almost forgot a very important step. We got to mark where the joists are, so we know where to put our nails. That would be a very bad thing to do. Oh, we really got to have a plan moving forward. We don't want to be shooting nails blindly into this wood and then miss. Now we can hammer it in. Okay.
So we're high.
We're still too high.
From here over, basically.
Okay.
Can we just take like an 1/8 off the whole board and then?
Well, unfortunately, we're replacing structure. We got to get this in. Once we get one in, we could do a couple of things. We could put structural screw, pull it nice and tight so it doesn't bounce out again.
Okay.
Because if we use a nail and start pounding away, it'll bounce that nail out.
Oh, the nail should be enough to hold it, right?
Okay, well,
If you wanna
this
grab
one's
the-
kind of flush.
Yeah.
I say we put a nail in this one and then we move forward from there.
Okay, I got the board.
Okay.
There we go. Now, we're using galvanized hardware because this is pressure treated. That's the only other major issue. Hold on. We're going to destroy this thing?
Yeah.
I think we do. We got a piece of 2x4
Okay.
and a sledgehammer and hit it proper. So we have, it's pretty tight. And when your dimensional lumber is rolled, the distance from here to here is longer than from here to here. That creates a height. That's why we trimmed it down. But now this location right here is where that structural load bearing wall comes right to this point load. This is where it's exactly 9 1/4.
Right.
And there's no mercy.
Okay.
So you're gonna just hit the end of that 2x4 with the sledgehammer and pop it into place.
See how this goes.
Let's see how it works.
Here we go.
Let's try with a medium swing first in case it's like too much vibration or weird crap going on. Like,
Okay.
oh, that's actually better. Okay. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
That didn't
And
work.
did it bounce right out?
Yeah. It split the
Oh,
rim joist.
whoa. Can you hit that corner in?
Okay, just watch your face.
Yeah. Go ahead, hit that corner in. All right. Now I want you to sink it.
How hard do you want me to hit it?
The same as you did. It's just bouncing right back out. This really sucks.
It's okay.
What?
It's okay. We'll go get a new rim joist. We'll
Well,
put
I've already
on.
nailed the other end in, for God's sake.
There's rip it out. We'll put on.
So what is the problem here?
I think we might have too much weight of the house bowing down after releasing that rim joist.
I'm not a big fan of what's happening here. This should not be this difficult, but let's get the top in first instead
the
of the
top in
bottom
first.
if it's possible.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, hold on. You're still a whole ½ inch out. Because you're flush with the sheathing now,
Yeah, we're not in
which
yet.
is
though.
way off the wall. Okay. Let's stop and talk. Let's pull it.
Okay.
We'll measure the gaps.
Yeah.
We'll confirm that this is going to fit. All right, before we destroy this board anymore. We need to get a claw underneath that so then I can close the board and pull the nails out.
There we go.
Okay, let's see what the actual height of this thing is. That is 9 1/4 bang on. This is 9 3/16. This is 9 and almost an 1/8. You see this?
Yeah.
This is a sag here because of that. This is 9 1/8. So here, lesson learned, dimensional lumber. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to kind of recap the process we've had to follow here. To help you guys out, look, the older your house, the more inconsistencies you're going to have with your build. Because you're going to have dimensional floor joists. You're going to have the rot, which causes decay, which causes compression, all right? And And over here is the best example of the compression. This joist here is curved. This one here is curved. It's been forced to bend under the weight because this is all rotted out from the nest of the ants. All these different things cause issues when you're trying to put another piece of lumber back. So even though it's a stock size and this is all 9 1/4, this is 9 1/4, the actual gap here was 9 1/8. Now we've added a temporary wall, we've lifted this up, we've got the space reinstated now, and you would think that you should be able to just stick a board back in, but let me show you something else. Here's my laser level. Right here, the line is on the bottom of that wood. That's fine. Over here, the line now is on the top edge of the block, and over here, now the line here is almost a full 1/8 above the wood, okay? So if I'm not level here, let's be dramatic, and we'll call it a rainbow, and I'm trying to stick a square piece of lumber on, it's gonna be running into problems. So, what you're gonna find is the older the house, you can always try it. We're gonna just take that 45-degree angle on the bottom, we're gonna try it, and if it doesn't slide in, because of the warping, when you go to hammer, it'll just bounce. There'll be too much contact. The only other solution is you actually cut it into smaller sections, because then you can go section here, section here, section here on that rainbow. Make sense? And then we're just gonna measure off from the edge to the middle of this, so we can nail all of it from both sides, and then we'll come back and we'll add our piece of 7/16. We'll cover all of those cuts up. The cuts in the rim joist are of no effect. It's a 50-foot house. They didn't put a 50-foot piece of lumber here. They put smaller sections, right? Probably 12s or 16s, but the point is because it's a direct transfer, all I gotta do is make sure that I'm not putting my joint right where my load is. I wanna have that one piece of wood. So, I'm gonna measure and cut to here. I'm gonna measure and cut to here, measure and cut to here. We'll do it in 4 chunks. I don't care. The smaller the piece, the easier to hammer it in, the less issue you have with all of the curves and the warps. And then we'll just button this up and be done. All right. All right, there's your first mark. Okay, just cut me a 22. And then I'll nail them in. I'll give you the next mark, and okay. Bob's your uncle. Okay. The next one, Matt, we want to get past our structural load here over to this area. So go 31 1/2. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. The last step to closing up your rim joist is to add your house sheathing. Over here we've got 1/2-inch fiberboard, and then the rest of the house has all been updated to 7/16 OSB. So we're gonna put back the 7/16 OSB. Right now the house is kind of in a combination of peeled and redone versus not peeled and not redone scenario, but that'll be next spring. The goal here today, like I said, let's get the rim on, let's get it insulated, let's get our skin on. That'll close up all the tiny gaps, all right? And then it's just a matter of reinstating your weather barrier, staple that on, tape it up, seal up your home, and then reinstate whatever facade you had removed to get there. Most people who are watching me, you're gonna have this issue. It's gonna be vinyl siding or aluminum siding. I know my house is a little different, it's a little weird. I have a 2x4 here that's very temporary. It's gonna get removed next year when we put the new 7-foot patio door in. Just taking my sheathing up until my subfloor. Remember, top, bottom, and then sill. All right, make sure we got all of that laminated together properly. And remember, if you're gonna go through the winter without a facade, cap nails. Staples just aren't gonna cut it. Well, that's it for us today, folks. We'll see you in the next video. Oof. That went right in my mouth. Hey guys, Jeff from RenoVision. Did a video about how to disengage your siding, okay, and then reinstate it all again. I'll put that link to the video in the description so you guys can follow that. But we're basically done here. This is it. Now it's just reinstate everything as it was. Ah. Okay, 1 second.